Hello everyone, this is Ninja, and this is a tutorial on how to make a complete automated biomass setup using a wheat farm, or 6 wheat farms, and 2 sugarcane farms. And in the end it'll produce about 300 MJs. I'm not sure how consistent that is, but I have it running in my LP world, and it seems to be making still a surplus of biomass, so pretty confident that that's a you'll be able to get these results out of this system. This isn't really the complete setup here. This is just the wheat farm, and it's one that I set up before I really finished my the one in my LP world, which is what we're going to build here. But I just wanted to show you this is mainly what the wheat component looks like, and you combine that with the sugarcane, and as you can see, this one's a lot more simple, and it has a lot of the same things that are shared over here with the wheat part. The wheat is mainly for producing mulch. I mean, you could just make even one wheat farm and have it run both of these, I think. But since one harvester will harvest up to 6 farms, I figure might as well make all 6 farms and have that producing biomass too, which this will produce 200 and the wheat will produce an extra 100, and you can get biomass out of the seeds from that too if you just have to put it in an auto crafting table and turn those into plant balls. So I'm basically gonna combine these two together, and it's gonna be actually a lot simpler than this wheat farm over here. So alright, let's get started. Okay, let's get started making the wheat farms. So here I'm gonna set up 6 farms, all spaced out just one space in between them, and let's put some diamond pipe in between them right now, just so we can get have something to stack them on a little easier. Okay. Well, and we're going to be using these to feed the seeds back into the system. Okay, so we got 6 farms stacked on top of each other there. Just one air block in between, and you can put the harvester up on this level right here. I'm gonna set it. Well, let's get this powered with some redstone energy conduit. And yeah, I just normally pillar up doing this with dirt. Alright, so 6 farms, and you can put the harvester, the harvester will harvest 2 below it and 10 above it, so it'll get all the farms up above this thing. I could probably put it on this level, but I know it'll work on this level too, and that just looks a little better right there. Let's get some pipes for getting the wheat and seeds out of the bottom here. And the harvester spits them out automatically, so you don't need a wooden pipe with a redstone engine or Antarctic gate. I'm gonna use mostly gold pipes here, just because it's a lot quicker to set up. I won't have to switch back and forth with different pipes. Okay, so it's gonna go in that side, out the other, and it's gonna weave through these diamond pipes, so it can supply all these farms with all the seeds that they need. Okay, so there's the basic setup for the wheat farm. I mean, it hasn't built any of the farms actually yet, so let's get a bunch of dirt and get that started. Okay, so we've got these full of dirt and seeds. Now we gotta set up the diamond pipes. You want the priority of the seeds always to be to go back into the farms, so these things will always stay full. So the way you do that with a diamond pipe, okay, first you want to block off the directions that you're not going to be going, which is white is always up, black is down, so you don't want anything going back up into the farm above. And I know yellow is going back into the harvester, so you don't want that. Okay, so you're left with black and green. Black is down, so we want that to be the priority for the seeds. So putting this in multiple slots means that it's way more likely to choose to go into the black than the green. Okay, so we're going to set each diamond pipe up like this, except it's going to be alternating which direction is green and yellow are going. So yeah, up here you'd see that green is the way we don't want to go. So alright, I'm going to continue setting up all these diamond pipes like that, and I'll be back. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, yeah, I put the wrench in here because you want to put something into these diamond pipes that you know is never going to be in the system, and hopefully a crescent hammer is never going to enter the wheat farms for any reason. So I put that in there as a symbol to my, basically for me to know that it's just blocking everything from going into those options. Okay, on the last diamond pipe here, let's see, the only direction we don't want to go is green, and this one, the output is the white because it's going up. And so alright, we have all the wheat is just bypassing everything going out here, and it'll prioritize seeds to go back down into the farms. But if the farm is full, the seeds will go, they'll snake their way up with the wheat and out here. So okay, let's start the farms building. The way I'm going to set this up is I'll have redstone energy cell powering it like underneath right here. Or let's just lay down the cable first. Let's make a day. Okay. So these will start building, and you want to start at the bottom and then go up, but it's kind of late for that already. Well, actually, okay, the way I'm going to prevent it from doing anything right now is take these wires back down. Okay, so let's chain together a bunch of these things so they have plenty of power to run off of. And with these redstone energy cells, you got to just make sure you have the arrow facing outward if you want the power to be hooked up to another thing. Okay, so set that as an output, that as an output. So these the way I have them hooked up is this one will drain first. So we can have a cap on this one. We're going to set it to, well, we'll set it up to 45 for now, just so it goes at full speed. So we want to get these farms built a little quicker. Okay, the first farm's done. And the reason you want to start with the bottom on these is because when you start these farms up, they will make sure all the blocks above it are cleared out. So if you have something up there already, like if I were to start from the top up, the farm below it would destroy the farm above it. So yeah, that's why you want to get started from the bottom up. And this is the second farm. You also want to make sure these things have plenty of light. So I'm going to build, as these things are constructing, I'm going to make a border around all these things. Yeah, you can see that farm just took out the pipes up here, so you might want to hold off on this last pipe that goes over top until the very end, because I think it just destroys them. I don't see them laying anywhere. Okay, so the last farm is built. We can put this pipe over the side here, and we'll have it come down. See, straight down here. Okay, and put a diamond pipe. This is going to separate the wheat and seeds into a couple separate chests. And it's already got producing some wheat. Okay, so let's have wheat come out on the yellow side. And you don't really have to put the seeds on the other one, but might as well. And wrench on blue. Okay, now that everything's planted, I'm going to turn the farm down to, let's say, 15 right now. And that should be enough power for the harvester to do its thing and the farms to replant. Okay, I'm going to continue lighting this thing up, making blocks on the outside and putting torches, and I'll be back when I'm done with that. Okay, I have all of the farms built and they're all lit up. Let's get rid of the rain. Oh, I think it turned it off automatically. Okay. I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to prevent all this water from flowing down, and the way I'm going to do that is by destroying this, and let's see. Okay, so that cuts off the power, so these water blocks, I'll be able to go down in them and make a pillar up without them rebuilding right away. And that's exactly what we want to do here. This would be easier with a jetpack, but I don't have one on me right now, because the water flow is pushing me down. Okay, so I'm just going to do that for each one of these, and they should, well, it's going to kind of mess things up for for a moment. It'll just replant them, because it's disrupting the water stream, so it's flushing a lot of the seeds out. Okay, that's all finished. All I gotta do is reconnect everything. I'll put that pipe back and just put the conduit back, and the harvester should pick up all these seeds and put them back into the farm, so any damage that it did will now be undone. And as you can see, all the water blocks are back, and it should continue on like nothing happened. But now there's no water streams coming down, so if you have an outside water stream disrupt this, it won't be a problem, as long as you just cut off that water stream. Okay, now that the wheat farm is all pretty much complete, at least the farm part of it, we're gonna set up the moistener. And you need a really dark place for this thing, so I'm gonna build a room that has a long enough corridor in it to block out all the light. Let's do that facing this way. Let's see, let's first make a hallway. You also want to make it wide enough for a pipe to come in and out. We're probably just gonna have 2 pipes going in, one to bring the wheat in, and one to have the mulch coming out. Because to make the biomass in the fermenter, that's one thing you're always gonna need is mulch. It goes through mulch pretty slowly, but mulch kind of takes a long time to make in the moistener. Okay, first let's light this up, just so when we're setting it up we can see what we're doing. Or I can actually show you guys what's going on here. Alright, so this thing needs cobblestone, and it accepts this from the top, and from the sides it'll accept wheat. And you can also pull stuff out of the sides, but it'll only pull the mulch out. Like when the wheat comes in, it'll be in this slot right here, and you can have stuff getting pulled out and it won't pull the wheat out, so it's definitely nice having it set up like that. And the byproduct of the cobblestone is it makes mossy cobblestone down here, so when it's pulling the mulch out, it'll also pull out the mossy cobblestone. And you could always filter the things out, but the way I'm gonna do it is actually just have it split up with a diamond pipe, so the mossy cobblestone will go into a chest before it tries to go into the moistener. Okay, so this thing also needs water, so what I'm gonna do is set up a aqueous accumulator. I'll put it in the back of this thing. Okay, and with the aqueous accumulator, you want to have some source blocks next to it so it goes a lot quicker. I usually just put it adjacent to the block itself. I'm not sure if you can put it here if it would make it faster, but I found that it runs really fast if you just put them on the sides like this and one on the bottom, and just have a pipe coming off the top. Okay, so we got water for the moistener. Next thing is it needs, I'm going to put an igneous extruder on top of it. You probably could, it'd be better to put this outside, but it only stops it momentarily because this thing lights up when it's working, and when there's light in here, this thing won't run. Like, the progress will stop altogether once this thing works. But it takes a long time just to make a piece of mossy cobblestone, so it will pretty much only be running every like 5 minutes or something like that. So it's not enough to stop it for long enough to where it makes it a problem. I'll turn all the outputs off. Only output is on the bottom, and make sure it's making cobblestone. Okay, and to put water in this thing, you can just click a bucket on it, and yeah, you can see it, the water went in there. It didn't used to work like that. You had to put the water bucket in here before, but that doesn't work anymore. Okay, so let's put some lava. And so this thing is now a cobblegen. So I'm going to have wheat coming in to this side and have mulch coming out of the other side. Okay, so we have this is the input and this is the output, separated by cobblestone and stone pipes so they don't interact with each other. We're going to have this request the wheat when this is empty, like it'll say, yeah, if there's nothing in here, it's going to start requesting wheat. So let's make some gates to make that happen. For this, you're going to need at least iron gates and octartic gates. Hopefully, you know, you're at the point where you've got the assembly table going and the lasers. It kind of took me a while. That's why it took me a while to really optimize this thing, because the gates are pretty much necessary if you want to fully automate this thing. Okay, and let's get octartic iron gates, and iron is as far as I'm going to go with this tutorial. Try and keep it somewhat simple. And we'll put a pipe wire going all the way down this thing, all the way to the wood pipe. Okay, now octartic gate there. And you need an iron to accept the red pipe signal. So if this gets a red pipe signal, we're going to say send an energy pulse to grab the wheat out of this thing. And that's in place of a redstone engine. Because normally you just have a switch with a redstone engine here and flip it on when it's when this thing needs wheat. But we're going to say if the inventory is empty, to send a red pipe signal, and it's going to be doing that now. And we're going to make the rest of the wheat is going to go into the fermenter. But this thing is going to have priority. So it's like pretty much if this thing has wheat in it, the rest of the time it's going to be sending the wheat into the fermenter. So let's set that up now. And the way you do that is just have the red pipe signal go to another one of these, and have it say if it's not receiving a red pipe signal to just, you know, send a pulse. I'm not only going to have the wheat farm, but I'm going to have the sugarcane farm over here too. So definitely going to need at least 2 fermenters. Okay, so both of these are going to go to the top of the fermenter. So let's. I need an automatic crafting table to put for the seeds, because we need to turn these into plant balls. To be able to use the seeds as biomass, you need to turn them into plant balls. So in the automatic crafting table, you'll set them up in the pattern like this to make plant balls, and we'll put an octartic gate here that says basically is set to run all the time. So the way you set it up to do that is say when redstone signal is off, then send the pulse. But I'm not going to send the pulse yet because I need to have the pipes all set up first. Okay, iron pipe, so these both go into the same place. Okay, let's set down our fermenters here. Okay. Okay, both of these things are going to need water, so let's make another aqueous accumulator. Of course I step right into the water. Okay. Okay, so we're going to be using pretty much all sides but one of these fermenters. It's nice to have this side clear so you can still see these indicators, so you can see if they're, you know, have any biomass in them or not. Okay, so they have water and they need power. Power's going to be, I want to have that coming up in between them, so okay, so we'll run up power up in between them. Okay, now we gotta decide where we're gonna set up the biogas engines and our storage. Probably put the storage, let's put it right here. So we'll have the wires come out. Okay. Actually, I'm just gonna have these above ground. Okay, so the fermenters need mulch to run. So I haven't started feeding wheat or plant balls into the top of this thing yet. And actually, yeah, I need I need to put hoppers up here. Okay, there we go. Got the hoppers going. That way this thing can't overflow quite as easily. And it can also accept two things at once, because since you have plant balls, sugarcane, and wheat coming in here all at the same time, you're definitely going to need a couple hoppers at least. Especially if you shut this thing down for a bit and then turn it back on, you're going to have a big overflow. Okay, so we don't have stuff coming in the top yet because we need mulch first. And we're going to be drawing mulch from a single chest, and we're going to have to grab it out from a side. So each of these needs its own side, and you also need to put the mulch in here itself. So you need to grab this from the moistener, so I'm going to have to run a pipe to the moistener. Yeah, I don't have this set up very good yet. Could go underneath here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, here we go. This isn't the prettiest setup, but this is the way it's got to be if I want to space this out correctly, because I can't have the wood pipe touching the stone down here, and I'm not sure if I can have this directly underneath. I probably could, but I'm just gonna have it set up like this because I know this works. This is how I have it set up in my LP world. So okay, let's get this started. Alright, these are going to request mulch when this is below 10%, so I think when it gets down below 7, it's going to request mulch from this chest, and this chest is going to request mulch from the moistener. when it has space available. So one thing we're going to need to do is actually fill this up with things that aren't mulch at the beginning here. Got to make sure nothing is getting drawn out of it first though. But you want to have 3 of these spaces you want to have mulch, and then the rest you can just fill up with cobblestone if you want. I mean, you could fill the whole thing up with mulch, but that's going to take a long time to generate that much mulch. But all you really need is 3 stacks, and it should keep up with this. Like, this thing is generating mulch quicker than these things can use it, so it'll keep up. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is have it so the chest can request the mulch. So we're going to need iron gate and an octarctic gate. Put the octarctic gate down first, and let's set the octarctic gate to pulse when it has a red pipe signal on. Okay, and when this requests the mulch, it's also going to grab mossy cobblestone if it's in there too. So we want that filtered out with the diamond pipe to go into this chest. Okay, and we'll set this up to say if there's space in inventory, send a red pipe signal. So it should turn on now, and it'll start grabbing any of the mulch. Actually, let me grab some of this out myself first so I can set the diamond pipe up. Oh. Okay, so we'll have the mulch go down, and pretty much you don't have to set anything else up. The rest of the stuff will just go in here, which will be the mossy cobblestone. Okay, as you can see, this thing's starting to fill up. Now let's have these start requesting the stuff. So we need iron gates on each of these. Red pipe wire. And we'll set octarctic gates on those. And we'll set these to pulse when they get a signal. And these I'm going to set to, let's see, if you right click you can start from the back, like you can go back and forth by left and right click. And this we're going to have set to, if fuel is less than 10%, send a red pipe signal. And same for this one. Alright, so these will both start requesting the mulch. Unfortunately, it might start grabbing cobblestone. Yeah, it grabbed one. That's okay. I could set these to, what is it, emerald pipes, and filter out the mulch only. But this normally won't be pulling that much, because once it's above 7, it's going to stop requesting. And normally you're going to have at least 2 full stacks of mulch here. So let me just fill this up. Okay, so now these things have mulch. We can start putting stuff into the top of them and start generating biomass. And the way we're going to do that is pretty much, this one will just go all the time. So we'll just have it, if it's not receiving a redstone signal, which it never is, energy pulse. So this will always just be running. And for the wheat, we're going to set another octarctic gate here, and okay, we're going to use a cobblestone structure pipe to pass the red wire onto it, because you can stretch the pipe wire onto a structure pipe. Otherwise there's no way you could really do this without connecting these two, which you don't want to. Okay, so we want to set this to, if it doesn't have a red pipe signal, to pulse, so it's just going to be running all the time. Okay, so as long as the moistener isn't requesting wheat, all the other wheat is going to go into these two fermenters here and producing biomass. So yeah, this will be able to supply pretty much, if you make, let's say, like 6 sugarcane farms, this will pretty much be making enough mulch for you. I mean, you may have to make another moistener, but yeah, this is pretty much the system you're going to have to be supplying your fermenters with mulch. Okay, now let's draw out the biomass, and we'll put it into just a simple Buildcraft tank, and we'll just stack it up, have it connect up with this one. Okay, and I'll be filling up this tank. Okay, and these need a redstone signal, and you also have to use the wrench on them to have the arrow pointing outward, so that when you send it a redstone signal, it'll actually draw out liquid. Okay, so yeah, there you can see just has a see-through arrow right there. And I know this looks a little bit different. I'm using the faithful 32x32 texture pack, so it may look slightly different. Okay, so the biomass production is pretty much all set up. All we need to do now is set up a bunch of biogas engines to actually generate power from this, and we'll link that back up to the system, so these aren't just being drained. They'll be refilled quicker than this thing can use energy. So I'm going to set that up real quick, and I'll probably fast forward this. Okay, so got all of our biogas engines set up and ready to receive biomass. These also need to start up with lava. I like to keep them just completely full. You could just put one bucket in here, and as long as it's always running, it's never going to really need any more lava, because it only needs lava when you first start up the engine. But it's good to have, like, say if you have a lava tank, just to run it directly into the back of these things, just in case you ever have to shut them down, turn them back on. You never have to really think about it. Okay, and this isn't going to be nearly enough biomass to fill up these engines, so I think I'm going to grab a bucket of biomass. Okay, so let's turn this thing on, and I'll just keep filling this up. Okay, and I'm also gonna wire the farms back up to this too, because right now they're connected to their own this is all just running off a battery back here, and it looks like it's actually gonna run out. So let's supply that thing with power by stretching some redstone energy conduit over to it. I guess I'll just put it over the building right here. Okay, and to get the lava into this thing, we could hook up some magma crucibles, but that would take a long time to fill all these up. So what I'm going to do is just fill a tank up with one of these infinite buckets, and should be good to go after that. Yeah, and this is just for demonstration purposes. Normally I'm not playing in creative and have just unlimited resources, so yeah, as you can see in my, if you've been watching my LP, it took me quite a while to get to this point. I don't have my tower set up in my LP this tall. That would be kind of cool though. I might actually, yeah, I might actually do that. Okay, and running this red alloy cable, it'll power this block, so it'll turn both of these engines on at the same time. So flipping this switch will turn these two columns on all at the same time. So just two switches to turn all this on. You could always hook it up to one switch, but I don't know. It's good to have a little bit of control over how much you're producing. And in my LP world, I have this split into 3 towers. So yeah, I can just kind of turn off 50 MJs at a time. Okay, we got all the liquids filled to the top, so that means all these engines are full. We could turn these on, but we're not producing enough biomass to support them so far. So let's get started with the sugarcane farm. Okay, so sugarcane harvester is relatively simple compared to the wheat farm over here. So for this we need to go up, let's see, sugarcanes grow up 3 tall, and this is where the second layer is going to be. So this is where you want to put the sugarcane harvester, because the area that this thing will harvest is it'll go 2 below it. So it's going to get the tops of all this sugarcane that grows up to this level, so it can get that from here, and it goes 3 above itself. So it harvests just enough area to get 2 sugarcane farms stacked on top of each other. And I guess that's the way they intended it. Also, it does a 21 by 21 area, so in other words, it gets 10 spaces out from all sides, so you just count 10 blocks in all directions. Okay, that's the outer edge of that. Okay, for the sugarcane farm, you need to have water source blocks always adjacent to the sugarcane. So let me show you here. Materials, yes. Okay, there's sugarcane. Put that in the inventory. Okay, so I can plant these here. Now if I go 1 over and then down 2, I could put a water source block here. Okay, so we just need to continue that pattern throughout this entire thing in all directions. So okay, if we do that here, we can put a water source block right there. So yeah, it's always, it's like, if you play chess, it's like moving the knight around. You can move him 1 over and then 2. always, like in every direction. So 1 over, 2 down. Oops. Not like that though. So yeah, in every case it's always the same. It's 1 to the left, 2 down. So 1 to the left, 2 down. 1 to the left, 2 down. And it's pretty easy just to kind of get a pattern going with this. And you want to put the water blocks in the outer edge here too, so you can plant more stuff. Let's see, so there'll be one right here. So it's almost good to have like a double ring around the edge here. I mean, you can't plant anything, it's not going to harvest anything on this outer ring, but you want to put the water source blocks here so you can end up putting one right there. Okay, anyhow, this is the pattern, but the way I'm going to do this is a little different because I want to make it easy to do the top layer too. So the way I'm going to do this is a little bit different here. I'm going to actually put cobblestone pillars throughout this. I mean, you can use any brick you want, but cobblestone's the most abundant, so might as well use that. But first we're going to just lay out the pattern just like I did with these water blocks. Now the reason I'm doing this is because on the top layer there's going to be water block that's going to want to flow down, so you want to have a block in its way. So yeah, it's just like the wheat farm. I have these blocks in between here. You want to do the same thing with the wheat farm, because if you ever have any disruption of these water flows, they're going to flow into each other, and then you're going to be swimming around trying to block it up, and it's just a nightmare. Trust me, it's not good. So I'm gonna do this all the way around, and I'm gonna make 3 high pillars, and then once I'm done with that, then you put a water source block there, so you have these blocks that'll be blocking the water on the top level. So okay, I'm gonna continue to do that, and I'll be back. Okay, and there you have it. I know this is a lot of cobblestone, but it can actually save you time in the long run if you do this. The rest of this I'm going to use the filler for, so it won't take nearly as long. Okay, I've got the land markers all set up, and I'm just going to right click on that guy, makes the pattern, and set the filler down. Let's see. Okay, now put in the fill pattern, and just gotta put some dirt in here. That should be more than enough, and just put a redstone energy cell right here, and it should fill up pretty quick. And it should go a little quicker. That finish? Yeah. Oh no, nope. I guess it wasn't more than enough. Let's put one more stack. So yeah, that's a lot of dirt. And we'll pick this back up, and we're gonna use it to clear out the 2 layers down at the bottom. Okay, for this one, let's make because we just want to clear out up to here, so let's see, how can we do this? Yeah, that'll work. Okay. And I must be coming down with a cold or something. My voice is going a little bit. My throat's been hurting me the last couple days. No other real symptoms though, huh? Just my throat. Okay, so if we click this guy, it should make a box like that and fill it right there. And we're going to put the clear pattern for this. Alright, there we go. So we've got the patterns on the top and the bottom. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to replace all of these cobblestone blocks with water source blocks. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, in my LP world I actually used ice blocks for this. I made the glacial precipitator, which is from the thermal expansion mod again. And this thing will produce ice on command for you, so yeah, real easy to get ice out of this thing. You just gotta have a little bit of water for it, make ice like that. And so that way you can replace all these with ice instead of, you know, hauling water buckets back and forth, because that would take a long time to do or you know, take up a lot of your inventory space to carry all that water with you. So yeah, you just make ice blocks and you just break them with your fist. Since I'm in creative, it's not, you know, doesn't work the same, but just thought I'd show you guys that. Okay, now I'm on the second layer. Let's make a day. Okay, there we go. So we got all the water blocks down, and all we need to do now is plant all the sugarcane. Also, I thought I'd show you guys real quick what it's like if you have all these water streams down. So every place where you'd see a block right here, yeah, there'd be a water stream coming down, and if you need to go through and change anything, it's kind of hard to maneuver around in here. And let's say, okay, accidentally place a block somewhere and it starts connecting to all these other water blocks. So yeah, that's the whole reason I am doing this. See, even if I clear those out, the water's still all screwed up. And the way I fixed this in my LP world, because I had them all flowing down at first, to do it like that, yeah, and then break that block. So it took me actually, I think, a little bit longer to fix it all like that, and well, maybe a lot longer actually, because when you do this, you have all the water streams kind of connecting together and pushing you around and stuff, so it's hard to maneuver. Okay, now all the wheat is planted on both levels. It won't start harvesting until it gets up to the third, till it grows 3 tall, then it'll get the top layer only. That's just how the harvester works. It doesn't harvest, you know, even if it got this second level, it would still only be getting just about as much, because it, you know, it would take this one off and then it wouldn't grow 3 tall. So you just gotta wait for these to grow 3 tall, and this thing will start working, but we need to run some power over to it. So let's wire this thing up. Okay, so this thing will start running now. Just need to bring a pipe over to it. Let's get the gold. Choose gold pipe, and we'll connect this up to the top of the fermenters. We'll just run it into the same pipe that's going into it already. Alright, so that's it for the sugarcane farm. All it really needs is to output all of the sugarcane into the fermenters, and just needs to link up to your power. So really it's all a matter of the tedious setup of all these water source blocks in the dirt, making sure they don't flow down and all that stuff. So that's just a matter of, it's a very time consuming thing. And other than that, yeah, just set this thing down, hook it up to a pipe and a wire. Alright, I've run out of power actually, so to get this thing kick started, because when we start this thing up, if it hasn't been running for a while, it's going to harvest a ton of wheat here. So this is probably going to overflow when we first start it back up. And it's the same thing that happened in my my LP world. I had to shut it down for a while just to work on it. When you start it back up, yeah, it's gonna overflow for sure. And actually, it's good to put a limit on all of these farms, because these things like to run at idle. So in other words, if they're not even doing anything, if they're not replanting seeds, these farms will still take, I'm not sure what the idle power consumption is for these things, but it's somewhere between, I think, 5 and 10 MJs. So it's good to limit the power that these things are taking. And the reason they do that is because if you're running like combustion engines or something like that, they will explode if they overheat. So, and you don't want that to happen. So that's the whole reason. It's actually to prevent things from exploding that these things run at an idle speed. I like to limit these to 25 normally, and it seems to keep up with everything. Like it'll run the sugarcane harvester at full speed, and it'll keep up with everything with 25 MJs. But if you give it 50, it'll take 50. So you might as well limit it. Okay, now all of the wheat was harvested and processed into biomass. I actually had to take down this tank and re-put it up there just so I could clear out the biomass so it wouldn't pretty much overflow. And the sugar cane is starting to go through tall, so they're starting to harvest. That means we can turn on these engines, and I'll just take a second to warm up. And the other side should be running too. And you might want to just check if there's any arrows on these, because I know I accidentally click them sometimes, and if the arrow is going outward, they won't accept any liquids in them, so that engine won't be running. But that's it. It should fill all these up, and you can use those 300 MJs for whatever you want. Like you could have a bunch of lasers for the assembly table. In my LP world, I'm converting these MJs into MFFS power, which is force energy, FE. And you can convert that into EUs, so yeah, you can do a lot with this power, that's for sure. Okay, I've been running this for a little while now, and this will slowly but surely fill up. It may go down at times, but yeah, this thing will at least produce 300 MJ and produce a surplus for you. So it's if you're playing Feed the Beast, you can, from Railcraft, you can make a huge tank from this, and you know, so you have a surplus of biomass. Okay, this setup is complete. This thing I could just leave this thing forever, not even touch it, and it'll continue to run. This will eventually fill up though, so to bring this to equilibrium, you could have some engines that you could run every once in a while to maybe use up some of your biomass. If you have a huge tank, that helps because it's going to take forever to fill it up. But yeah, eventually this will either fill up, or if you have too many engines, it'll, you know, these will eventually run out of biomass, and when these stop, they start using lava too. So yeah, it's definitely better to have a surplus than it is to be running too much biomass. And this was filled up to about this level right here, but it'll fluctuate up and down. But in my LP series, I actually have this making a surplus, so So I'm pretty sure this will eventually start filling up to the top. I'm going to leave this available for download for anybody who wants to check this out. If you want to see this for yourself working, you know, because I realize I could talk about this all day, and sometimes it's actually more informative to actually just go out and check it out for yourself. So yeah, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys found it informative. Any suggestions or comments are very much welcome, and thanks for watching. I'll see ya.